My neighbor reported me for stealing electricity when my bill dropped. Should I have warned him about the investigation? My electricity bill went from $340 to $87 last month. Not because I was stealing power, but because I finally fixed the problem I've been complaining about for 2 years. Quick backstory. When I bought my house in 2021, the electric bill seemed insane. Previous owner said the house just ran hot. I had electricians check everything. They found nothing wrong. I assumed old houses just cost more. Then last year, I noticed something weird. My meter was spinning even with my main breaker off. That's literally impossible unless someone else is connected to your line. I hired a specialized electrician. Cost me $400 just for the inspection. He found it. My neighbor Brad's garage was wired into my panel. Not accidentally. Someone had deliberately run a line through the shared fence, underground, into my system. Brad's garage had a full workshop. Table saw, arc welder, air compressor, industrial freezer. He was out there every night, woodworking, until 2 a.m. I was paying for his hobby. The electrician said it had been wired this way for at least 10 years. I've been paying Brad's garage bills for 3 years without knowing. I confronted Brad immediately. He laughed it off. That's impossible. My garage is on my meter. I showed him photos of the illegal splice. He squinted at them. Could be anyone's wire. Probably the previous owner did something weird. It goes directly into your garage, Brad. Coincidence. I called the power company. They sent an investigator who confirmed the theft. Said it was the most blatant case he'd seen. Brad could be charged with a felony. Brad beat me to the punch. Filed a report claiming I was stealing his electricity. Said his bills had suddenly spiked and I must have reversed the connection. The power company had to investigate both claims. They temporarily installed separate monitors on both our systems. Meanwhile, Brad started a campaign. Told the entire neighborhood I was an electricity thief. Posted on Nextdoor about keeping an eye on your meters because some people can't pay their own bills. My other neighbor, Mrs. Chen, asked me about it. Brad says you've been stealing power for years. I showed her my bills. $340 monthly average for 3 years. For a 1,400 square foot house where I live alone. That's more than my bill, she said. And I have a pool heater. The power company investigation took 3 weeks. Brad spent that time escalating. He put up cameras facing my yard. Signs saying, "Smile, theft prevention in progress." He even called my employer claiming I was a thief. Then the results came in. The investigator knocked on my door with a thick folder. "We need to talk about your neighbor." Turns out, Brad hadn't just been stealing from me. He'd also tapped into the streetlight circuit and the HOA's landscape lighting. His actual electricity usage was nearly $500 a month, but he'd been paying about $60. How long has this been going on? I asked. Based on the wear of the connections, at least 15 years. 15 years. 3 homeowners before me, all paying Brad's bills. The investigator went to Brad's house next. I watched from my window as Brad's face went from confident to confused to terrified. An hour later, police showed up. Brad tried to run, literally got in his car and tried to leave. They stopped him at the end of the street. Here's where it gets interesting. Brad's wife, Kelly, didn't know. She came over crying, saying Brad handled all the utilities and she had no idea. "I wondered how he afforded everything on his salary," she said. He said he was really good at budgeting. She showed me their bank statements. Brad had been putting the saved money into a separate account, almost $30,000 over the years. Told her it was his emergency fund from Smart Shopping. The HOA got involved when they found out about the landscape lighting theft. Brad had been on the HOA board. He voted against LED upgrades because they'd cost too much, knowing he'd personally be paying more if they monitored the system better. The criminal charges were just the start. The power company sued him civilly. The HOA sued. 3 previous homeowners joined a class action when the news got out. Brad's lawyer tried to negotiate, claimed it was the previous owner's setup, and Brad just never reported it. "Your client added the connection to the streetlight himself," the prosecutor said. "We updated photos showing the progression. Brad had apparently started small, just stealing from my house's previous owner, then got greedy, added the streetlight, then the landscape lighting. Every few years, he'd add another tap. The discovery process revealed everything. Brad had journals, actual written records of his theft. Notes like, added North Circuit landscape, should save $40 per month, and garage heat now free, project budget increased. He'd been using the stolen power to run a side business, was selling custom furniture on Etsy, charging thousands per piece, while I paid his workshop's electric bill. At the plea hearing, Brad tried one last move, claimed I'd known all along and was complicit. Said we had a gentleman's agreement where I paid his power, and he didn't report my fence being 6 inches over the property line. "Your fence is over my property?" I asked. My lawyer smiled. "Actually, we surveyed. Your fence is 3 feet inside your property line. Brad's shed is partially on your land." Brad went pale. His shed, his $15,000 custom shed where he'd been running his business. "We'll be addressing that in civil court," my lawyer added. Brad pled guilty to avoid jail time. Got 5 years probation, has to pay restitution to everyone he stole from. The amount I'm owed alone is $11,000.